Hey guys, what's going on? It's DJ here with my bro man in the camera.
Hey guys, what's going on?
And before we get into today's weekly recap of the Flash episode from last night, which is called Power Outage, we're wanting to wish you a happy Thanksgiving. We hope you guys have an awesome one. Spend time with your family, eat lots of food, right, Jeremy?
Yep.
Yeah, because this video is going to be going up, and I don't think that there's an Arrow episode actually tonight to recap for me tomorrow, because it's going to be Flash versus Arrow next week. And we'll talk about stuff when that happened. We're just going to be talking about the Flash today. So, with that being said, let's get into it. Last night's episode of the Flash was insane. So many meta-humans all in one episode. Some that had been recurring, some that just got introduced. And we're actually introduced to Blackout, who in this case is Farouk, who was in the New 52, which is a character that was created for the Flashpoint timeline, which I said in the beginning was this whole entire series, what it was going to be based off of. So I'm right in that regard. We're introduced to him. He gets his powers obviously the night when the storm hit, and he basically has the ability to control electricity basically, and to absorb energy. And his, because of that, he's always hungry. He's always needing to feed. So he's taking out power grids and stuff like that, and he's pretty OP. He's a really strong character, and somebody that was really gonna be a huge problem for Barry, because Barry's still learning to harness powers. Still doesn't really know how to fight, but he's learning as he goes, and with that, having such a very strong villain there, it's hard for him to really fight back. So what happens at the beginning of the episode is that Barry goes to confront him. Blackout takes his powers, absorbs all of Barry's energy, and basically takes away his speed, everything, and all his abilities that came with it. And they're trying ways. Caitlin, Cisco, and Dr. Wells are all trying to figure out how to restore his powers. And another thing at the beginning is it's shown that Dr. Wells is actually documenting all the things that are happening to Barry so that he exists in the timeline in the future. So I think my theory is almost correct. I'm not sure if it's 100%, but he is from the future, I think, because that's what it seems like. He's talking to a computer, it's recording his voice. It's crazy, it sounds so futuristic, especially for this point in time. And yeah, he's documenting all these things because the Flash needs to exist in the future that he knows. He's trying to, I guess, recreate it so to make sure that Flash shows up there. And so basically, aside from that, getting back to Barry, he doesn't have his powers, and all the while that's happening, Talkman is also there, and he takes everybody inside the precinct hostage. And this is before Barry hears about it, but he basically takes Iris and her father hostage, and he tries to save the day. It doesn't work, he gets shot, and Barry doesn't have his powers at this point. He's still trying to deal with Blackout and trying to figure out what's going on with his powers, how to get it back. And Dr. Wells is off on his own, doing his own little thing, his weird, shady thing, and he lets out Girder. He lets out the metahuman that could change his Tony Woodward, his skin into metal, and he actually ends up dying, which actually kind of made me sad. I didn't think that he was gonna die that quickly. I thought that he was gonna be some sort of recurring character later in the series, but I guess that's not gonna happen because Blackout just messed him up bad. Yeah, so Barry confronts Dr. Wells saying, why did, you don't seem to care about anybody, you don't seem to actually care about people, and he says that I care about you, Barry. There's kind of like a bit of a struggle between the two morally. Barry wanting to do everything right, and the Dr. Wells wanting to do everything in order to keep Barry alive. No matter what the cost is, no matter how many people die or anything. Okay, so they're all trying to get Barry's powers back. They zap him. Caitlin and Barry have almost like this pretty intimate moment, which I thought was gonna result into something more, but it didn't, which kind of upset me a little bit. But down the road, it's only been 7 episodes in, I believe, so maybe down the road it will happen. But he gets zapped. All the power that they could put into him, it didn't seem to actually come back. It looked like it came back for a second because he could move his hand real fast, but he was saying to himself, it's not back. And then they realized that it's now mental. It's something that that Barry needed to confront in himself to be able to turn his powers back on, because he had it in him. He just needed a motivation to kind of spark it again. And that motivation was when Blackout finally cornered them, and Dr. Wells was actually about to sacrifice himself, but right before he could, Barry saved him in the last second and was able to overpower Blackout. That was pretty crazy how that happened. They're like transferring energy, and I guess Blackout couldn't take the amount of energy that the Flash was actually creating, because Caitlin said that it was double the amount than when he had lost it before. So that means his power is just exceeding another level. It's just going up and up and up. So you guys know already, Flash is one of the most OP characters, one of the most powerful characters in the DC Comics. So that was really, really awesome to see him kind of like exceed himself and reach another level. But going back to the precinct where everybody's held up, Eddie has been shot and all of that. I think I mentioned it already. And it doesn't seem to look good because around this time, Barry still doesn't have his powers, and it actually took Iris to stop the Talkman, to shoot him, and she actually saves the precinct, she saves the day, and Barry gets there in time just to see everybody safe, to see Talkman get arrested and everything, and then they go visit Eddie at the hospital. Then Joe tips over the vase to see if Barry got his powers back, and he does. Eddie saw, but he was like, "You see that?" And he's like, "Oh, you're just on pain meds, man." He's like, "Oh yeah, I forgot." And I thought that was really funny how they fit that in. And then Barry talks to Iris as Flash and says that sorry that he couldn't be there, and that he had no, he really couldn't. And she said it's okay. And they have just a bit of another intimate moment. And then she sees them back in the room again. Towards the end of the episode, everybody kind of reconciles, and Dr. Wells and Barry kind of take back what they say. Then at the very, very end, where it shows a little bit of like a teaser for what happens next, obviously always Dr. Wells doing something weird. He opens up the cell where Blackout is. He takes a bit of his blood and says, "You had the power to stop the Flash, so I want to know what it is that did that." Takes a blood sample. The guy that could turn himself into gas was staring right at him. Some heavy stuff's gonna go down. He checked his timeline. Dr. Wells locked himself in his little room again. Checked the timeline. Shows that the Flash is missing during whatever timeline that is in the future. Yeah, it seems like he's just controlling it so that Flash is there. What I'm now guessing is that Dr. Wells, either he becomes Zoom and then it becomes Eddie, but it's something that really makes me think like maybe that's not it. I do think that maybe he's a scientist helping Barry in the future. Something happens, something catastrophic happens. This is, if you guys have watched Flashpoint Paradox, you'll probably get where I'm coming from with these theories. So basically, Barry tries to save his the Barry Allen in the future. I'll just tell you guys this just to get your mind thinking of what's gonna come on this show. Basically, the future Barry comes running back in time, trying to save his mom from Dr. Zoom, who's trying to kill her. In that future, he succeeds. Like at the beginning of the film, he succeeds. He actually stops Zoom, but it alters the timeline. He never becomes Flash. All these heroes never exist. Even though you think it might be a good thing that the timeline changes, it really isn't, because there's actually more anarchy the way that the world is. Do you guys need to view that movie to really understand what's going on? And another thing in that movie that's pretty crazy is Superman still arrives on Earth, but he arrives in a very different way. He looks very different, and he's almost powerless. You could call him Super Stick Man. And yeah, I think I also mentioned, or I hadn't mentioned because the video actually cut off. Batman is Batman, but it's not really Batman. It's not Bruce Wayne, but it is a Wayne. Let's just say that. And basically the future's changed. Barry still has his mom, but Zoom wanted that to happen. He wanted all this to happen. Aquaman and the women are actually the bad guys in this movie. All these other villains that are actually, like, it's weird. The bad guys are kind of good guys in this film, and then the good guys are kind of bad guys in this film. So it's basically flipped. And I think that would be awesome if they somehow wrote that into the final seasons of this thing. I know we're talking way, way ahead. This thing's gonna last for a while. I'm sure of it because of how good it is, and it's only been the first 7 episodes, I believe. I'm just wondering if they could somehow write Superman or Batman into it, and maybe start a Justice League thing. I mean, that's probably gonna be the next step, right? They're introducing all these characters into these TV shows, and I know they said they weren't gonna do the superpower thing on Green Arrow, but you're already getting characters that are just superhumans. They're metahumans already, so why not take the leap? What I was thinking that maybe they could somehow get the guy that played Clark Kent on Smallville. I know I'm a Smallville nut, whoa, surprise. But I think it would be cool because my brother mentioned that it was Bart Allen on Smallville, so that means it was the younger version, and he could still get written into this show as Superman because he already became Superman by the end of Smallville. And even though Green Arrow looks a little different, they could still somehow write it. Like, it would just make it interesting. Like, I really wanted to see Clark as Superman, not just like as Superman in the last episode. But yeah, and another thing is after the Smallville series ended, they actually continued it in comic book form, and Bart dies, the Impulse dies, which is kind of like in the comics. So I think it'd be cool. I really think it'd be cool, even if it was just a guest star. It would be cool to see Justice League kind of form. We'll have to really pray that happens. I just think it's so cool how DC is really actually picking up on TV and really getting something, because the films, they were hit or miss, or they're kind of not really that bad, but they can't really match up to Marvel films, to be honest with you. But they can do a good TV show, damn it. They can do a good TV show. Yeah, this episode was awesome. I can't wait until the Flash vs. Arrow episode. I can't wait to talk to you guys about that and discuss things. And I can't wait until, yeah, I can't wait until that happens. So, hope you guys enjoyed. See you guys in the next one. Happy Thanksgiving. Hope you guys enjoy it with your friends and family and everybody. Eat a lot of food. Just have a good time. And we'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!